We're live, and as soon as Len gets his subscription cereal all squared away.
I got my Reese's Puffs.
Dressed up as a Reese's peanut butter cup. Looking
Dude,
good.
It's looking good. It's a Halloween miracle is what it is.
Darren, you ready?
Yeah, and Kirby's standing by.
Good. As long as we have Kirby, as your second.
Yes, well, fulfilling the internet cat quota.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you've made the world safe for cats, thankfully.
We have.
And by the way, to the people who are like still wondering, which I really am still wondering, what happened to half our video episode the other day? Turns out today Hangouts has a different interface, and they're making a sharper distinction between Hangouts on air and Hangouts the chat. So I bet they were pushing code updates right in the middle of our show. That's what I think happened. I don't really know that.
You know those Google engineers, they like to work on the servers live.
Oh, dude, tell me about it. I know my wife works for YouTube thing is overdone, but yeah, she knows. You push a code update when? All right. Let's go. Here we are.
Hey, you know that Tom Merritt? That's one guy that really knows where his towel is. And because he knows where his towel is, I support him on Patreon. If you would like to do the same, head on over to patreon.com/acedetect. Push the button, Tom!
This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, October 30th, Halloween Eve 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, Mr. Darren Kitchen, founder of hack5.org at hak5.org, dressed up as a man with a cat on the internet.
Yes, Kirby and I are here to get into the news with you. We are very excited. She's a podcatster.
Oh, interesting. That I don't know if you realize it, but that can also be a pun.
No.
Yeah, because a cat. What? Yeah. Oh.
Wow, Tom.
Interesting.
Like, we're picking up what I was putting down.
It's almost like that.
Pick up things.
Len Peralta is also with us to pick up what we're throwing down and turn it into wonderful art, as he does each week. Len, happy Halloween Eve.
Happy Halloween Eve to you as well. I am, for those of you who aren't watching video, I am dressed up as my favorite Halloween candy. Of course, the king of all candies, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
I used to really love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups until I ate the Trader Joe's Peanut Butter Cups.
Oh, no.
Oh, what?
Oh.
Ruined me.
Yeah, I used to like that good?
Elliot.
Yes. It makes me want to phone home, but instead, I'm going to do the headlines. Let's do that. Yesterday afternoon, the Wall Street Journal reported sources said Google will show off a unified version of Chrome OS and Android, and the internet exploded. According to the Wall Street Journal, it would happen next year. They would show an early version and then unveil the actual unified operating system in 2017. The Wall Street Journal did say the following, which got missed in a lot of stories. Chrome OS would remain open source and maintained by Google, so they never reported that Google was going to kill Chrome OS. Recode sources say manufacturers will be able to choose between Android or Chrome OS, and sources told The Verge Chrome OS would in fact not be killed. One source told Business Insider that it's possible that a new merged OS would be offered alongside Android and Chrome OS, giving Google a total of 3 operating systems. And you could probably count more if you really looked close. But thanks to jsnphil and Fritz Times 007 for posting about this on the subreddit. Darren and I are going to talk a bit more about what we think about all this in the discussion. But what's your quick take, Darren?
I just know deep in my heart that that Google will not kill off Chrome OS exactly the same way that HP killed off WebOS by giving it to the open source community. Rather, they'll put a little googly spin on it and kill it off by just handing it abandoned to the open source community.
Yeah, I mean, they gave Wave to the open source community.
It's like recycling, right? Recycle of the internet. Here you go, open source.
It's like, you're right. It's like leaving it on the curb.
Yes.
Like, here's Google Reader.
Free on it, but you mean
I don't know if anybody will take it.
Yeah.
ICU _ wanted to make sure we mentioned this. Microsoft Executive Vice President of Windows and Devices Terry Myerson wrote a blog post that Microsoft will soon publish Windows 10 as an optional update, ending reservations. You won't have to reserve your update. And then early next year, Windows 10 will become a recommended update. Those settings can cause automatic installation of recommended updates. Users will not be upgraded to Windows 10 until they proactively choose it. So even though it becomes recommended, it shouldn't be forced upon you. ZDNet's Mary Jo Foley notes that users, even after they update, will have 31 days to roll back to their previous Windows version. Microsoft also said it will allow more choice for consumers over the timing of future updates to Windows 10. They even said that going legal if you have a pirated version will become easier as well.
Wow. At least it's an interactive install process. So you're not just going to like wake up one morning and like, what just happened here? And then
it's basically, they're just going to get pushier about it. Like right now you have to ask them. Then they're going to start going, hey, don't you want it? Don't you want it? You sure you don't want Windows 10? Look, we checkmarked it. You should just press OK. Just press OK. You'll get it. You can go back to 31 days. Come on. Just try it. Just try it. You want to try it? Want to try it?
But it's free. So, I mean, why not?
Yeah, and you can roll back. And I get why they do want to have as many people on Windows 10 as possible. It is a balance between making the easiest to maintain operating system platform and letting users have their choice of what operating system they would like to run on the machine they bought.
Right. And I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the privacy implications of some of the stuff in Windows 10, but at least they make it all obvious how to turn some of that stuff off, and you don't want to be that guy. Stop running XP.
Yeah.
Tell your grandfather to stop running it too.
Multiple sources are telling 9to5Mac that the iPad Pro will go on sale November 11th. This is a Mark Gurman story. He's got a great track record on this sort of thing. So maybe mark Veterans Day down in your calendar. 2.9-inch iPad Pro, along with its new accessories, the Apple Pencil and Smart Keyboard, would be available online and in retail stores. iPad Pro with Wi-Fi starts at $799, comes in 32 gig and 128 gig versions. LTE compatible version comes in the 128 gig and starts at $1,000. Wait, people were complaining that the 18-inch Samsung was expensive at $599 and the iPad Pro starts at $1,000. Do I have this right?
You're paying for the Apple logo. I mean, come on, that's to be expected.
The Apple logo was very nicely protected on my Apple TV, my new generation Apple TV that I got today.
They even put like a special sticky just over the logo.
Yeah, just over the logo. Just over the logo that's on the bottom of the Apple TV.
But did you get one of the stickers to put in your car window to let everybody?
Yes, you do. You still get those too.
And I love November. It's a great time for product launches.
By the way, tried Siri 3 times, 3 different ways, and it failed every time on Apple TV. Did not give me very relevant Mark Hamill movies, like no Star Wars movies. Could not find The Leftovers on HBO. And when I asked for the latest episode of Haven that I have a season pass to, it gave me the movie Safe Haven.
But you did get to watch Corvette Summer, though.
Yeah, it was a related choice.
It's still better than Netflix search. So come on.
No, I'm not sure it is at this. I mean, that's not a very good sample size. Just three attempts, so I'll hold off. The Tor project released a beta of Tor Messenger, an anonymizing off-the-record cross-platform chat client. Tor Messenger is based on the free IM client Instabird and the Tor browser. Client routes packets through the Tor anonymizing network, disables login information, and forces encrypted chats. Tor Messenger beta currently supports Jabber, XMPP, aka IRC, Google Talk, Facebook Chat, Twitter, and Yahoo IM. Project developer Sukhbir Singh stressed the client is still in beta and should not be used for strong anonymity because of that.
Well, I mean, then again, the same exact thing can be said about the Tor project. I mean, they've always said that caveat, like, don't rely on just this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're making good strides. I'm thankful for it. And it turns out Tor is becoming like not just that, tinfoil hat or black hat tool. It's going to hopefully continue the dream of the internet after it's fragmented and broken.
Yeah, and you know what? If I'm gonna give Apple TV's Siri a hard time, I got to give Tor Messenger a hard time too, because I was able to authenticate to Gtalk, but it could not maintain a connection this morning. It just kept falling off, and I wonder if that has to do with two-factor authentication or whatnot. But yeah, it kept saying it was getting unexpected data. from
Yeah,
Google.
that wouldn't be your ISP or the NSA like injecting hex code in there to make.
Yeah, I'm trying it right now, and it's doing the same thing where it logs in, it sees some people, and then it goes, whoa, unexpected data. Don't know what to do with that. So
It's fragile.
Microsoft rolled out a Chrome browser extension. Microsoft rolled out a Chrome browser extension, allowing users to quickly access and create Microsoft Office documents, either ones that are stored locally or in OneDrive. Microsoft is also integrating Skype into Office Online documents, as well as to Outlook.com. Users can see and chat with Skype contacts from within files. They'll even attach, if you're logging your chat, those chat logs to the file that you were using when you did the chat.
You know, I love this because it's like Microsoft saying, like, look, you know, we had a good platform or a set of platforms, Windows, Office, Internet Explorer. Obviously, we kind of neglected some of those. Maybe it's not the end of the world if you're not all of the platforms. I think what's really interesting about this, though, is that it's like Google being like, yeah, of course, you know, whatever. It's an open platform. Whereas if this were, say, the, I don't know, Amazon store, you might have your Chromecasts pulled from it. So
yeah,
there's something
today
to be
is
said
the
about
day,
being a
right? Apple
platform.
TV and Chromecast disappeared from the Amazon store today. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
TechCrunch reports German mobile carrier Deutsche Telekom is the first company to test Europe's new net neutrality rules, which come into force next year, April 30th, 2016. New rules allow ISPs to offer specialized services which are not internet access, and people complained that the rules seem to be vague. Deutsche Telekom CEO Timotheus Hochges says his company is preparing to offer startups, quote, guaranteed good transmission quality. Doesn't that imply that the current quality isn't good? Anyway, he suggests a revenue sharing agreement could pay for the service because he wants to pitch it to startups. He just wants to help them compete with the Googles of the world that have these big data centers, Darren.
I'm already like Tom, remember the internet? It was amazing, and I'm already imagining all of the documentaries that we'll be watching in not too far off years talking about how great it used to be. I'm so scared. I'm so sad.
In its early days of openness, the internet was a wild west where anyone could get away with anything. But thankfully, law prevailed in the end, and now we have a clean, law-abiding internet.
We have cable television all over again.
Oh, gosh, I hope not. Yeah, good on Deutsche Telekom for just coming out right now and saying this is what we intend to do. I think it's probably in their best interest to say, if we're going to get stopped, let's find out now rather than wait till April 30th to find out.
Keep pushing
PC World report. What's that?
I was just saying, keep pushing the envelope.
PC World reports representatives from Google, Amazon, and Walmart have joined the 25-member U.S. FAA task force charged with developing a registration and identification system for drones. Dave Voss, who heads up drone activities at Google X, will co-chair the committee with Earl Lawrence, who leads the FAA's UAS integration office. Other members include folks from DJI, GoPro, Precision Hawk, 3D Robotics. Retailer Best Buy has somebody on that panel, and there is a representative from the Academy of Model Aeronautics.
Yeah, well, at least the AMA is on there. I honestly think the FAA and the DOT are crazy if they think they're going to get any of this done by Christmas. And I have to give props to Google X's Dave Voss for recommending ADS-B for two reasons. Like, first of all, like as a unauthenticated and unencrypted protocol that just tries to work with best effort, it's already doing that. There's 1090 megahertz for the commercial stuff. There's a separate frequency for your general aviation. There's no reason why there couldn't be then another frequency for drones. I don't buy the whole like filing flight plans, you know, before takeoff or any of that crap. And then I also think it perpetuates a bad protocol. But then again, we're still using SMTP. So that said, it will be fun for hackers because it just means that drone spoofing is something that we're going to be doing on Hack5 as soon as this, if this recommendation, as many of the other crazy ones, is taken to heart and passes law, will be showing on Hack5.
The Internet Engineering Task Force has formally recognized the .onion address as a special use domain for anonymous browsing. That means ICANN won't be selling the domain, and .onion addresses can be registered free of charge as long as they're used for the proper purpose. Verge reports the Tor network partnered with Facebook to submit a draft to the IETF. Last October, Facebook unveiled a .onion version of its own site at Facebook.onion. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's Facebook Core. I guess it's Facebook Core www.onion.
Yeah, see, I think Facebook is for an open web as long as they have some sort of control in the platform. You can see internet.org or things of that nature
So wait.
to kind of get a taste of it.
Facebook, you're saying don't let Facebook into Onion. They'll just take over .onion.
No.
Okay.
It's the IETF. And this is the beautiful thing about how the internet used to work before fragmentation of the future, and why Tor is going to become like an even more important role in keeping the old school ideals of the internet alive. But yes, this is overall a good thing, and whether it's Facebook or Google or some guy, who cares? The IETF and the IEEE, ICANN, recognizing .onion is good. It prevents anybody from being able to spend $250,000 to buy that TLD, and there's already a bunch of other ones like .local, which you unfortunately cannot register because that would be just the best to hack everyone.
CNET reports South Korean mobile carrier SK Telecom claimed it will be the world's first 5G carrier at the opening of its 5G research center. SK reportedly demonstrated speeds of up to 19.1 gigabits per second. That's about 1,000 times the speed of 4G LTE. SK Telecom is competing with Verizon and Australia's Telstra in the race to 5G. Verizon is set to begin testing 5G next year with commercial availability targeted for 2017. Telstra aims to launch commercially in 2020.
Yeah, so that's, by the way, a theoretical maximum and not something that you're actually going to see in the real world.
For sure.
I'll give you an example. The LTE technology that we have today could provide, say, 108 megabits per second, but that's using 20 megahertz of bandwidth, and that's using, one of the densest encoding types, which is 64 QAM. And, with just a little bit of noise from the atmosphere, you're going to be dropping down from 6 bits with 64-bit QAM to 2 bits with 4 QAM, which would basically mean it would continue to drop, and they're not giving you that much bandwidth per phone anyway. Anyway, the point is, what I'm trying to say is that there's an upper limit on how much data that you can actually push through any given amount of spectrum, and it's the same reason why you get faster Wi-Fi performance with, say, 82.11 AC than you did with N than you did with G, because each successive technology just uses a wider and wider set of bandwidth, but then less people can use that same amount of spectrum concurrently. So while still really, really cool, and I love some of the stuff that they have in the proposed protocol, which still hasn't even been ratified, as far as quality of service is concerned, just don't hold your breath for 19 gigabits or anything.
Yeah, it's a really good point. When you hear 19 gigabytes as the maximum speed demonstrated, that means that in their lab, pointing one thing at another thing, they were able to pump that out. Your actual speeds, as you know from your current LTE subscription, never reached the maximum. But theoretically, you might get close to a gig of service, depending. So, your mileage may vary. We'll see what they actually
with LTE if you got all of the frequencies.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, 5G will end up being faster. Yes. I guess that's the one safe thing to say.
That's a safe bet.
Hey, fans of HP or fan of HP, you should know that Monday is the official big split. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, with the stock ticker HPE, will become a company that sells data center technology and services. They'll get to stay in the current HP headquarters at Palo Alto. HP Inc. Will get to keep the stock ticker of HP and then gets whatever else is left, which includes the declining computers and printers market and $6.8 billion in debt. They also have to move up the hill to the 1960s-era headquarters on Page Mill Road. CEO Meg Whitman will be CEO of HP Enterprise while staying on as a non-executive board chairman of HP Inc. While she keeps 2 jobs, 30,000 other HP employees will be laid off as part of the reorganization. And that's coming on Monday. Woohoo! Not all the layoffs are coming, but the split is. Well, that is what we got for you. Thanks to everyone who submits stories at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. We got lots of great votes today. In fact, some highly voted stuff didn't get in the show because of various things that we needed to make happen today. But that's a good thing. I'd rather have lots of stuff to choose from. So keep the votes coming. dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com, and that is a look at the headlines. All right, so it is a... We could talk about the media reaction to this idea that Chrome OS and Android would merge, but I think it's more interesting to talk about the fact that this is something that from 2009, Sergey Brin said, over time we'll probably look at merging these two and or I think he used the word converge. There will be a convergence of these operating systems. TechCrunch's Drew Olenoff had a really good story where he said Chrome OS always felt like it could be a mode that you should be able to turn on with Android for when you had a he says, shitty internet connection, or just wanted the bare bones to get work done. Regardless, the ecosystem is alive and well. And his whole article points out that products are not developed in isolation in Google. It's not like you have the Chrome OS team over here and the Android team over there and they never talk. So the idea of having Android apps work in Chrome OS or bringing some of Chrome OS's security to Android is probably obvious, like if you're actually working inside of Google. So all of that, going back to this Wall Street Journal story, it's not surprising with the Pixel C out running Android if Google next year says, hey, we've got a version of Android that we think really works well on the laptop and desktop. You enterprise and education customers who love Chromebooks, we're going to keep Chrome OS going for you. But otherwise shifting some of their emphasis to this version of Android that maybe has a Chrome mode in it or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think this is awesome stuff, and I think that it's never at Google, or at least my perception has been that it's been like an Apple team versus a Mac team, and that only like they're pitted against each other, and only one will win in the end. I think they're both approaching two different paradigms of computing, and even today I run virtual machines of both of these, both KitKat and Chrome OS for different reasons, because I like certain Android apps I want to have on the desktop experience, and I like Chrome OS for its security and its kind of sandboxiness. And I think Chrome OS really, like, if anything, this should be like the bookmark chapter pointer when you say, like, boom, Chrome OS, success story, did what it set out to do. Make a lightweight operating system that just runs the browser and does that securely and very well, and as a result we got like $150 computers out of it. So I think that's a huge success story. I just wonder how exactly, because it's a little obvious that there are two sides of the puzzle, how exactly those are going to merge together, because I'm game for a Googos.
Yeah, I am too. The big thing that Android and for that matter iOS can't do very well, if at all, is multitasking. The reason I go off of a tablet and onto a laptop sometimes is not just a bigger screen, it's the ability to have 3 windows open at once that I can pop back and forth quickly. The simplest reason is I need to Control C here and Control V there, and that is an arduous process in a tablet. It can be done. I've done it. In fact, I was doing it on my phone the other day because I had to, but everything takes about 3 times as long. So if you could take some of the learnings, and that's what Drew Olenuff's talking in this TechCrunch story, is the learnings between these groups are fast and furious. You take some of what Chrome OS learned about, like, okay, here's the multitasking stuff that we had to implement eventually because it just wasn't productive otherwise, and figure out how to implement that on the Android side to make it work well on a tablet laptop hybrid. That's very interesting.
Okay, so this is going to sound crazy, but I think that is not too far off if you consider kind of the contributions to Linux that Google has been doing through both of those platforms in the past. And yeah, I absolutely agree. It's kind of impossible to think like Android in its current form as a multitasking OS, because really you're just alt-tabbing through full-screen applications. But Samsung's hacks notwithstanding, I think this is actually an awesome opportunity for Google and Wayland. I know.
Wayland?
I know that sounds crazy, but as a windowing environment, I think it has some potential. Like, get some Android and some Chrome OS, throw it together with some Wayland, and I think you've got something. And then they can contribute back to that, just like they've contributed back to the Linux kernel. I mean, it's the future of the Linux operating system, so why not?
I'm really just sitting here trying to figure out how to refer to Chrome OS as Willy so I can make a Willy in the Wayland joke.
Gotcha. But I'm not saying GNOME or KDE. I'm still saying, their windowing environment, but based on that, I think.
Do you need a windowing environment, though?
Well,
or can you use what Chrome OS kind of has hacked together?
I mean, I think what Chrome OS has done is figured out the user experience side of things. But how you draw the widgets is a totally different beast than where you draw the widgets.
That. Yeah. So you make a better widget drawing thing so that you can run all those Android apps, because that's one of the things Chrome OS doesn't have to deal with is a whole lot of apps, right?
Right.
That's also one of its downsides.
Well, it's also the whole thing of like we've gone from, we've had a last decade of like a ton of mobile experiences that have like matured, and now we're looking at our desktops going like, this is a completely different paradigm. So where do the two merge? And I think I'm probably not the only person who has like an affinity for certain applications on my phone that just do not and cannot exist on my desktop, and there's really no reason for that. Just so happens that one runs on an ARM processor and the other's x86, but who cares? It's bits at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, I've always suspected that that iOS apps would eventually run on OS 10. Now, Tim Cook denies that, but then again, Steve Jobs denied all sorts of things that came to be.
Apple always denies something until they figure out how to make it work in their own internal logic. And then they say, oh, we were denying it because it didn't work, but we figured out how to make it work, and now the iPod video. So yeah, I mean, it's only impossible until they make it possible. I am still fascinated with this idea of a Chrome mode in an Android laptop. If you can get me, whether it's through a windowing environment or not, some ability to do multitasking with the Android apps alongside a Chrome mode sort of browser. I mean, you're talking about a couple of virtual environments there, I guess, if nothing else.
I think what I would love to see merge from the two is the richness in applications that Android brought to the table. Because yes, the Chrome idea of everything could be a web app doesn't really work. I don't feel like the pendulum should have to swing hard one direction or the other as far as web app or desktop application, or I guess device application in the terms of Android. So I'd love to see that continue on this platform as far as like Android's strengths, but it's had pathetic security. Whereas you look at the security of Chrome OS, and partly due to the fact that it's trying to do just one thing very simply, but there's something really beautiful about the fact that you reboot a Chromebook and it's a fresh copy every time, and you don't have to worry about malware in that sense. So I would love to see both of those merge. Of course, I don't know how to do that, or else I'd be over there doing it.
Well, yeah, and at the end of this conversation, that's where we end up, which is if there was an obvious way to merge Android and Chrome OS, Google would be telling you about it right now, but it's been difficult. And all of these, Business Insider, TechCrunch, Recode, all of them have one refrain, which is, this is a problem Google has been working on for a while. And the story here that the Wall Street Journal is breaking is they finally think they've fixed it. They finally think they've solved it, and they're going to hopefully have something to show you next year. But this is a thorny problem they created for themselves, mind you. They basically said, well, let's try both of these approaches and see which one works.
Two successes.
Yeah. Totally.
So the idea is take those two successes, one in the very small, thin client kind of just does a few things really well, Chromebook, and then the other in the kind of general purpose Android, which is branched out from smartphones to tablets and cars and Google Glass and whatever else. Yeah.
Well, hopefully this ends up, I really do hope this ends up being true, and we get a third operating system.
It'll be a hypervisor with a Chrome VM and an Android VM that you can alt-tab between. Perfect.
Oh, God.
Done. Make a ship.
Please don't. I've got a timely pick of the day from Jeff in sunny and friendly Corpus Christi, Texas. I've been there. He's right. He says, I would like to recommend Chromixium, which turns your desktop or laptop into a Chromebook-like device. It's based on Ubuntu 14.04 long-term LTS, so you get all the power and security of Linux with the simple design and functionality of a Chrome OS device. I work at a school district where we have lots of Chromebooks, so the students are instantly familiar with the interface. OS uses very little resources, works offline, and can be run from a USB stick or installed in about 10 minutes. It's also great for setting up a Steam gaming machine. We're breathing new life into old hardware, and you can even set it up to dual boot if you want to keep Windows around and, test for viruses. Those are his words, not mine. Check it out at chromixium.org. That's CHROMIXIUM.org. Chromixium.
On that, I have to say, there's not fragmentation within the Chrome OS sphere as you have with Android. So that's another interesting point.
Yeah, and whenever you bring up fragmentation, it's like saying, flat tax in politics or something.
Well, no, but you get...
it's not a political issue. What you're talking about is you have lots of different devices with different implementations of Android, and when you write an app, you have to account for those different, if nothing else, display sizes and things like that.
Right.
Chrome OS doesn't usually have those issues. I don't think it does.
You buy an HP or a Samsung Chromebook, they're both going to be identical, and in this case, this based on Ubuntu is just trying to emulate the same exact thing. It's just Chrome.
That's mostly the carriers or the manufacturers causing that. I mean, Android could be just as unified as Chrome OS. It's just that on laptops, manufacturers don't push an agenda to say, we want to control the updating of the operating system.
You know what? Let's be thankful. You know what? Let's walk away from this just being thankful that that's not the case.
Yes. Send your picks to us, folks. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. A couple quick hits on our messages. Yaru from Malaysia pointed out that even if console sales do slow for Sony, as Justin Robert Young suggested they might, Sony makes the money up on games. So as long as that install base is big, they can still be making money off the PS4 for a long time. It's a good point. Byron in LA says that showroom idea that we've been talking about for a couple of days, where SingPost, the postal carrier in Singapore, wants to create a mall where you go in and order things to be mailed to you, could be great for shops that can't afford large retail space or retail space at all. In places like New York and LA, they can just have a small little kiosk, show off some of their wares, definitely save on floor space, and yet still take advantage of a big marketplace in a big city like that. Interesting thought from Byron. And then James, the aircraft mechanic in Lake Charles, Louisiana, says, sorry in advance for the non sequitur, but it seems to me like Google Now is trying to fill a whole reader left in our lives, and I, for one, am not ready to trust them again with something they dropped so unceremoniously. What is James talking about? Well, Feedly is now showing up integrated in Google Now, so you can get cards that have popular stories that are in your RSS feeds. James says, pulling my Feedly into Now just rubs me wrong. Then giving me no control over what stories come into Now? The whole thing is just irritating me. Am I being unreasonable and petty, or are others feeling the sting of this merry-go-round?
Disable it and you had what you had before.
Yeah, I mean,
also,
I mean, it does give you some control because you're in control of what RSS feeds are in your Feedly. But yeah, just turn it off.
Isn't the whole idea of Now, though, that it would be like, machine learning, like your phone's going to like get to know you and decide what to recommend based on all of that stuff? So maybe you're just in the terrible twos.
Yeah, I think James, like many people, is still feeling justifiably upset that Google Reader was ripped from their hands, and those wounds will heal with time.
That's the thing, though. Where is it on GitHub? Come on, Google, just pop it on GitHub.
I'm fine. I mean, Feedly's working great for me, and I think that's the key. Is like a lot of people switch to Feedly, and they're like, okay, Feedly, I love Feedly now. Screw you, Google Reader. Feedly saved me. Feedly cares about me. And then to see Feedly like, hey, we're integrating with Google Now, could feel like a betrayal if that's your narrative.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my personal narrative. I just think, oh, Feedly made a good product. I like them now. So. Regarding Twitch Creative, Rob in Peoria writes, as you and Len know, the process for digital artists really isn't any different than game streaming. They could share their monitor where they're drawing or painting and interact with people that are watching. I'd be shocked if art communities like DeviantArt aren't already working on their own solutions for this. I think Twitch's downfall from how it sounded on your show is that they aren't going to allow fan art, or at least they've got restrictions around fan art. This would be a huge segment for artists, and while there is some gray area with what you do with the art after you make it, it's not illegal to make it. Len, I should have asked you about this before the show, but I wanted to get your take on Twitch Creative, that idea that you could do a stream of just art now. You don't have to have it tied into gaming.
I think that's a great idea. Actually, I was looking at other ways of streaming my art without using necessarily Google or Google Plus, just looking at different options. And I think that's a great idea. I think it's terrific. More power to them.
Are you worried about the terms of service that are like it must be original work, and if it's derivative, it must be derivative in certain ways?
You know what? You'll always get around that. You know what I mean? It's what the people want to see, and I think it'll kind of all parse itself out in the end.
Yeah. Well, and you've got experience. You've drawn a lot of popular art using cultural memes and cultural figures and stuff. So you've had to do that dance for a long time.
Absolutely, and I was actually looking at Twitch over the summer for doing just that. So.
Interesting.
I was actually just thinking about just this last night as I was doing some After Effects and Premiere, and that I was like, why can't I just screencast like I do with a Chromecast, my phone's screen to anywhere, if I just want to show someone something, not necessarily remote desktop support or anything like that. And yeah, that hadn't occurred to me because I hear Twitch, I think gaming. So I'm just glad to know that that's around.
Well, I'm glad to know that you're around, Darren. Thanks for being around today. It's good to have you.
Hey, it was awesome to be here.
hack5.org, hak5.org, folks. Go check it out. Follow Twitter, twitter.com/hack5Darren. What is going on in the Hack5 verse this week?
We are having so much fun with this new tool for basically doing security auditing on sub 1 gigahertz frequencies. It's called the Yardstick 1, and it's a tool that allows you to transmit certain modulation types. So basically what we ended up doing over the last 2 episodes is we're hacking things like garage door remotes, wireless doorbells, wireless light control systems. Basically anything with a regular wireless transmitter is going to be on one of these ISM bands that we can communicate on now. And so just like everything is totally hackable now, just like it was back in the early 2000s with the original Wi-Fi B specification and before WEP and WPA and all of that. It's just so much fun. Right now, I think actually as soon as we wrap this, we're going to break into Shannon's car or my car that transmit their key fobs over 315 megahertz. So go and check that out. If you're into RF,
but that's supposed to be a series of numbers that you shouldn't be able to know, Darren. How will you possibly know? Want to know? Find out. Watch Hack5.
Thank you. That was good.
I know. I was playing 2 parts there. I should have cast someone else.
Professionally, Tom.
Hey, yeah, no, seriously, folks, go check this out because it's stuff you would want to know if you're relying on things to secure things like your
How to
car.
break into your neighbor's car.
Are you the one making my light bulbs flicker?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
All the way in Los Angeles, I got a 50 megawatt antenna yacht pointed towards LA.
I don't know. I saw a van circling at the same time. Hey, Len Peralta, what have you been drawing today?
Well, you know, I said at the beginning of the show I wasn't drawing what the main story is, but in some ways I guess I sort of did. People in the chat room were talking about Frankenstein browsers and things like that. But, you know, it is the day before Halloween, and I couldn't let this go by because I love this holiday so much without doing the annual DTNS Halloween print, which I kind of went overboard here just because, you know, I love Halloween. Good. It's for those of you who aren't looking at the video, I did sort of a take on 1950s horror movies with a movie that was called The Studios of Dr. Hackenstein, and you'll have to check it out. It's a pretty cool thing. I think this is the most involved one I've done.
This is amazing. I was going to ask, did you start on this yesterday?
No. Actually, I did start a little bit earlier, but I had this idea in the middle of the day. I'm like, I want to make this look like a real poster. So I started just about an hour before a little bit before the show. So
I'm just only bummed out that I can only get it in a print, but I'm going to Len Peralta store right now to get it.
Seriously, me too. Like,
yeah,
this
can we
is
get
so
it in
good.
movie poster size? Because
I can look at it. It's done high enough res that I could probably do it. But yeah, if you go over to lenperaltastore.com, just like Darren did, and Tom, and whoever else, you can pick this print up right now at my store.
Before it's locked, I have green eyes.
Oh, okay. You know what? That doesn't matter. I can fix that here. I can fix that here in post. Not a big deal.
Awesome.
That's not the one that goes out. Also, I just want to mention that the DTNS Instant Art Collection 2 is up at the online store. It's 10 of this year's my favorite prints, and the most popular ones also as well, that you can get for a very, very inexpensive price. Much cheaper if you bought them individually.
So hold on. We've got Jenny pulling the switch, to make the monster alive. You've got me as the mad scientist. Darren is cast as Frankenstein. It's monster.
Frankenstein's monster, not
Hackenstein's monster.
And I have to say, Darren, I kind of feel like that would be the expression on your face were you to be cast as Frankenstein's monster.
I think I know what I'm doing for Halloween this year.
That is fantastic. lenperaltastore.com, folks. I cannot recommend it enough. And thank you, folks, for supporting the show. If you're wondering what we're up to these days, thanks to about I don't know, a small percentage of you being willing to give us $1 a month or more, we're able to do this show, the show that we do now, and we cannot thank you enough for that. If some of you are willing to support for the first time or maybe support a little more, we want to do a 6th day of Daily Tech News Show, get close to being literally daily with an international flavor. So it would be hosted by Peter Wells in Australia on his Monday, so our Sunday, and that's our next milestone goal. So if you can, and you're willing to help us, head to dailytechnewsshow.com/support. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Give us a call, 512-599-DAILY. That's 593-2459. Listen to the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern at alphageekradio.com, and our website is dailytechnewsshow.com. Have a happy and safe Halloween, folks. We'll see you Monday with Veronica Belmont.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Boom. Great show. What should we call it?
Woohoo. Oh, that's a question I answer. Hold on.
Could be. Could be
Chromatic
taken on
Android.
holiday.
The recycling of things. Or Google dumps Chrome OS for Android. I don't get that one. Dumps is in quotes.
Chrome Droid.
I'm missing that one too.
Triforce of Google.
I like
OSs.
ASL hashtag Tor blocked.
Uh,
I don't know.
Chromenstein.
The Triforce of Google.
Hey, what if they made the Chrome OS the actual hypervisor?
Whoa, wait. Android phone Chrome. Android phone Chrome. Sorry, this is the Reese's thing.
Oh.
It makes no sense, but I like it.
Chrome OS isn't going away. It'll be right here.
Oh. Why was ET never a spokesperson for one of those like 1010 call ATT things in the 90s?
Call ETT.
Why? He
Because
could have been selling so many collect call things.
Didn't it?
Man, I keep getting an error when I try to check out.
Oh, is it the PayPal thing is down again?
Yeah.
It was down for like hours last night. It was so
Yeah.
frustrating.
Boo.
I could check out in a different way. It's not a problem.
La 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 la.
I'm hoping I get the special misprint one with the blue eyes, just so I have. something to
It's
read.
already fixed. No, it's already fixed.
Ah.
And it's already fixed on the store too. If you go look.
Oh, really? Wow,
Yes.
you're fast.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
I mean, if you're Len Peralta. anyway.
It's like, I've mounted my SFTP directly to my Mac.
Hey, Len, what do you draw in?
Photoshop.
Oh, wait, you're on a Mac though, right?
I am.
Have you looked at the Surface? I just got to play with it. Patrick Norton had it on Tech Thing.
No,
And
The Surface
I've read a
Pro
lot
4
about it,
or
though.
the Surface
Yeah,
book?
The Pro 4. I think they both have the same pen though. What I was getting at is the pen's got 1024 level of volume, I want to say, or velocity or whatever it's called.
I've been looking for a good portable drawing setup, and like my iPad and their stylus just never did it for me. And I didn't, you know what I mean? I wish that Adobe would make a portable version of Photoshop already for tablets.
Oh, tell me about it. I wish Creative Cloud would just come to Linux.
Yeah, I don't even use that. I'm still 2 behind.
You're not on CS6, are you?
I am actually.
See,
Who's got the Echo right now? Just out of curiosity.
It's probably me, Roger.
actually, on that note about Len being a couple versions behind in Photoshop, Tom, I wanted to mention to you how envious I am of you. I know you're a big Ubuntu fan, and I'm stuck on Lenovo Ubuntu 14.04 because my carrier Lenovo hasn't pushed 15.10 to my desktop yet. It's so frustrating.
Oh, dude, yeah, no, I've got one of those reference model laptops
Right.
that always give me the update first.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I would
I got
have
it
to buy a
straight
new
from
Sony.
Mark Shuttleworth, actually.
Yeah. Well, like I was thinking maybe I buy a new Sony or look at what HP has because they seem to push the updates faster. But
HP pushes the updates faster, but then they put their HP Ubuntu Wiz thing over it, so you got to deal with that.
You can install a new window manager, but you just can't get rid of the NASCAR apps.
Right, I know. Well, I just hide them in a folder on my desktop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just make sure you don't ever open those because everything just goes to crap after
Yeah,
that.
I know. It's a pain.
Man, I'm
By
so
the way, if you go to tested.com right now, there's a little video up which you can actually watch me create and narrate a Geek Week card. Will Smith's Geek Week card. It was
Oh,
surprising.
sweet.
Oh, nice.
So they put it up there on the on Tested. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll watch this here.
How are those guys doing with Mythbusters getting canceled?
I think they're going to be good.
That
because I
doesn't
think,
affect them.
No, I think they're gonna. I think Adam is gonna put a lot of time toward.
Oh,
toward
okay. So it might actually be better for them.
I think so. I think
That's
so.
cool.
Will's leaving though, so I
didn't
don't
know
really know.
that.
I don't really know what's going on. Oh yeah, Will is going. He's starting his own VR company.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't have a name yet, but he announced the beginning of September.
Good for him.
That's why the live show. We gave the card to him then because that was going to be his last real thing to do with Tested. But yeah, couple months.
Plus,
we'll
then you can make the Will Smith update card, traded card. Make tons of money doing that.
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I want to see what he does. I mean, it's so vague right now, but he is leaving to start a VR company. Crazy.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
He's a nice guy.
I like Will.
He let me try his Google Glass one time. That's how long ago that was. But what's the genre of our? Is this podcast? Is that what we call it? I'm having to put all the ID3 tags back in.
Technology and news. I thought we did.
No, it's on the ID3 tags. The genre is for music, so I just put podcast usually. Just making sure we're still a podcast. Are we still a podcast?
I think podcast's still a thing.
Are podcasts a thing? Have they died
I
yet?
don't know. I hear to podcast. That's that thing where you get YouTube Red and you can download your shows, right? That's a podcast, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But you have to submit it to the Google Music Store.
Right. Then it's not a podcast.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not a podcast. Because podcast is a Google term.
Right. I try to subscribe to my podcast, but the problem is on the YouTube, it only shows me what it wants to show me in my feed. It doesn't show me what it's subscribed to. So what's the point of subscribing anyway?
Oh, my gosh. I was having a conversation with an unnamed person about the fact that YouTube doesn't let you actually password protect videos. So
like Vimeo did in
there's
2007?
there's really no way to put like a screener up if you make something and you want to put it on YouTube for people to look, but only certain people have access. Your only choice is a private link, but if that link gets out, anybody can use it.
No, that's unlisted. Unlisted is what you're talking about. Private is where you actually add people based on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking
Google
about
ID.
unlisted.
Yeah.
But private doesn't work. You can't just like email someone a link and a password.
No.
Private means you have to actually know their Google ID
Yes.
and add them to your account.
Okay, so private is like sharing a Google Doc with just me and not making it public. The only problem with that is you're going to send it to my Darren at Hack5 and not my at Gmail address, and then I'm going to have to send you a request. And it's just broken.
Yeah, exactly. So I was complaining about that.
Complaining about YouTube. Man,
I was complaining about it to someone who can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't stop me because I was making spaghetti for that person. And if they wanted some, they had to listen to me.
Wait. Sorry. Len, you're making spaghetti, right?
Len?
Len?
I can't hear Len.
Oh, sorry, I was on hold. I don't know what we're doing. I am Nora's. I don't think Nora's working tonight, so we might try to do something fun with food. I don't know.
Spaghetti makes a good horror film thing.
It does. Cavs are on tonight.
Wait,
Watching that.
Darren, were you saying podcasts or podcats?
Oh, no. Oh, that's why I get it so confused, because podcasts is an Apple thing.
Right.
Podcats is a YouTube thing.
Right. Okay,
Right.
now I got you.
Okay.
It makes more sense now.
So confusing.
Yeah.
My podcatster is sleeping on it, literally sleeping on Cat5 cable. You know what?
Oh, you got to take a picture of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an Instagrammable moment.
By the way, the only useful feature about the Note 5 is the double click the home button to instantly open the camera.
Nice.
With like a half second or less delay. It's great.
How can I watch The Leftovers? I'm sorry, I can't help you with that.
I'm sorry, Tom. You can't watch The Leftovers.
Show me the latest episode of Haven. Here is Safe Haven. You can rent it for $3.99.
Shut up, Siri.
Are you asking about Corvette Summer?
I was
Well, what I
actually
love
really
is-
excited. I was like, this is going to be great.
What I love is the whole concept, like 5 years ago, the idea of like talking to your phone, computer, device, whatever, was like stupid. Like, why would I ever want to do that? And now it's just like, oh, look how terrible this is at finding results. Like, it went from, like, why would I do that to, it's so bad at understanding me.
Yeah,
Siri
yeah,
doesn't get me.
it's so true. I probably wouldn't. I still don't talk to my phone much because I don't want to be saying what I want to my phone in front of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I speak really, really low. Like,
Yeah,
can
I'm waiting for that technology to be implemented because it exists where it can just like
you please
detect what you're saying as you mouth it without you actually speaking it out loud.
I think
So it wouldn't have to go
I think I have to
lo-fi, no, early bird. Damn it. Why is it always X Pro 2? X Pro 2. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
There's something very embarrassing I need to ask you.
What does a rash on your back mean?
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly. You're like sitting in the mall and you say that, and then I'm asking for a friend, okay?
Is it supposed to be that color, Siri?
Well, but the thing is, it's like such a very specific thing. It's not like Linux commands that you can like string together and pipe from one thing to another. I can't be like, okay, Google, WebMD, is it supposed to be that purple? And send link to George. No, not Jorg, George. Crap.
Is it about to
No,
fall off?
splotchy, splotchy.
It feels like it's going to fall off. It's burning.
Sending to Brenda. Why they don't actually interconnect? Maybe there's no logic to it.
Hey Siri, show me photos of diabetic feet.
And then put them in a zip file and then email them to.
Guys, I mentally went away for like 1 minute and it got so dark. What's going on?
I'm just imagining someone sitting in like the middle of a food court asking this.
Oh boy.
This looks a lot like an elephant ear, doesn't it?
Suddenly for some reason you remind me of Gene from Bob's Burgers immediately. Send me diabetic feet.
Show me pictures of diabetic feet. Excelsior!
Excelsior.
Hi. All right, I think on that note.
On that note.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, Len.
Oh, yes, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. All right, guys, take care.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye. Almost done. Just waiting for processing.
Processing.
Just waiting for pre-session.
See, this is where YouTube could really up their game by hiring that lady Echo. You know Echo from Skype? They should hire her to just be like, processing.
Echo from
Processing.
Alexa.
Reticulating splines.
From Amazon. She's an Amazon girl.
This is the Skype call testing service.
Yeah, that lady's somebody else. I have a question
I just like
for
the way
Darren.
she says configured.
Configured.
If you have configured your mic properly, you wouldn't be calling me.
Get your act together, please.
Oh,
I can't just be doing this for people all day. That's when I realized she was live. I always thought it was a recording.
oh man. Oh, you again. It's a USB port. You get it on the third try.
Oh, you can see my confusion on USB ports in video today on my YouTube unboxing of the Apple TV, where I show the USB-C thing, and then I pull out a cable. I didn't realize you had to charge the remote. I missed that somewhere. So I pull out a cable, and I'm like, huh, they gave you a USB-C to USB adapter. Well, that's interesting. That's kind of cool. Although it's male on both ends, but all right. So I try plugging in. I'm like, oh, nope, that's a lightning adapter. What the hell's that for? I'm like, you have to charge your remote. Of course you do.
This is the beauty of USB, and why if Radio Shack could have just like held on a few more months for USB-C to come around, we'd all be over there
they'd be making millions.
Adapters. So I need a USB-C to LPT port. You have those, right?
I need a USB jack to USB-C, but I need it to be the USB modular end, not the USB box end.
So what you want is a female USB-C. We don't have that, but if we go female USB-C to Centronics, and then take a Centronics cable to LPT, we've got an LPT back to USB-C adapter.
I've got an old Intel camera though, and it's just got the boxy USB port on it. Will it work for that?
Yeah, we've got an RS-232 that'll go to that. So if we get you an RS-232 and then a game port cable back to USB-C, we've got you covered. Like 3 cables.
Now, can I splice my component VCR into this?
You're going to need an RF modulator for that, Tom. But we've got one that goes to HDMI and then an HDMI to USB-C adapter. So there you go.
The problem is this is a perfectly plausible conversation.
You know what's hilarious? I had written a cold open that said, oh God, what was it going to do? It was RF replay with RTL SDR and GQRX, and I realized I had just said a bunch of letters.
Yep. Oh, Radio Shack. The Radio Shacks are starting to put up their little Sprint signs around me. Like, ooh, we're going to be a Sprint store soon. So at least they're not going dead.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll still sell HDMI to RS-232 cables.
Can I get an Ethernet to mains adapter?
Well, you know what sucks is they're one of the few places you could get appliance fuses for, because, depending on what kind of appliance you have.
Oh, they don't take the regular blade?
No, most of them take the little cylindrical.
Can't get that at the hardware store?
Not all of them carry the.
Oh.
Because depending on what you have, your ratings.
Stick a quarter in it.
Do you have the internet?
You don't need it.
Well, so the thing with the internet is it tells me there's one store in San Francisco that would carry it, or I could order it online, or I did what I did 2 months ago when there was still Radio Shack. I bought out all the fuses I needed. Like I stocked up on like 2 bags worth just in case. And it just, it was super cheap. They're like $1 each. So
just make sure you tape them to the back of the dryer.
I actually taped it inside the dryer wall.
Mm-hmm. I used to do that with my driver CDs on the inside of my computer case, and then the internet.
I used to keep those in a special pocket in my laptop bag.
Mm-hmm. You put them in a Ziploc bag, and then you tape the Ziploc bag as well as the Windows install disk to the bottom of your PC case.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you put it in the Ziploc bag because of those dust bunnies.
Plus I did an Ubuntu live boot CD once without that, and it just turned into flaked silver. It was useless.
What, for real?
Yeah, it just like whatever it was rubbing against in the laptop bag just like shaved everything off of it.
Also, props for having an Ubuntu CD.
Oh yeah, it was for diagnostics and shit.
Yeah, no, you. Oh, okay. I thought you meant you were like that guy that went to cdrom.com back in the day and like 700 megabytes.
Oh no, I just burned it. I took an ISO and burned it.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for using that cheap Maxwell crap. You know it was gonna flake.
Yeah, it was cheap. It probably was Maxell actually.
What's the oldest recorded CDR do you have?
Oh, CDR?
Like something you've burnt out.
It's probably one of Eileen's music CDs from 2002.
I have one from
I definitely have some of those.
1996 with a copy of Quake 2 on it, and it still works.
The best part of that is you can pop it in your CD player and listen to the tunes off it.
Was that the one that Trent Reznor did, or did he did the original?
No, that was Trent Reznor did the first Quake, but Quake 2 was a really cool band, and I can't remember their name now. Hang on. Oh, they're so cool.
Back when
Now
I
we
was
need to know.
in charge of all the computers on screensavers, I actually still have it. I have the Case Logic. Remember in Case Logic, you would stick all your CDs inside.
Yep.
So I still have that, and I have like.
We have a bunch of those
Sonic
with
Mayhem.
our CDs in them. Sonic Mayhem.
Yes.
And with that, I'm out of the post. Thanks, everybody. Have a good Halloween, and we will see you on Monday. Bye.